Hello there, this is Heirs to the Kingdom channel, and today's lesson we're doing 3 chapters again, 22 through 24. If you're new to this, the Bible study channel, going through the King James Bible, not skip anything as Scripture's command. So if you would, like, subscribe, and share this content, go ahead and get started here. So last we left off, Og, the king of Bashan, attacked the Israelites. God says, go out, you'll take them. And as long as they followed God, God was with them. Even though they were not allowed to go through the land flowing with milk and honey, the land of Canaan, they were forced to stay in the wilderness. God was still with them. So they had cities and stuff to stay in, and the cities ain't like the stuff we have today with skyscrapers and all the huge buildings. It'd be like mud hut systems, things made of brick. Could be multi-stories that can make 2-story what we would consider a hut type thing today. Their bricks were made out of mud and straw, and they made mortar to put it all together, and they still kind of live that way in the Middle East. When I was deployed there, these huts, stuff I went to wasn't huts, but either or. You got to go in these places, and it'd be scorching hot outside. But the nighttime would cool off all this rock, and so it would keep the inside cool throughout the day. And so you can go inside, 110 degree weather outside, go inside these things and be down to, 70, 80 degrees. And then dry heat, 80 degrees is quite cool. I lived in Arizona for a while too. And it's like 60 degrees and, almost no moisture in the air. It's quite chilly. But also, in return, in the wintertime, you would have a fire inside the place made of stone, pretty much. And it would heat it up and hold the heat in. So the daytime, even though it would be cold outside, the sun would warm the rock, the fire inside would warm the rock. And at nighttime, it kept it very nice and toasty. Anyways, that's, they still live a lot of that way today. They just use different bricks, different center blocks, or whatever else. But, nonetheless, God, didn't let them go to the promised land, but also they didn't stay in just their tents all the time. They also got to stay in buildings and stuff, but they probably, they still had to rest and stay in their formation to surround the tabernacle. They were commanded that. So, anyways, though, as the pillar of cloud went up from the tabernacle, they packed up and moved. And then, of course, when God came down to the tabernacle, they stopped and stayed until the Lord told them to move again. They had to do this for 40 years. So let's continue on with the lesson here, chapter 22, verse 1. And the children of Israel set forward and pitched in the plains of Moab on this side Jordan by Jericho. And Balak the son of Zippor saw all that Israel had done to the Amorites. And Moab was sore afraid of the people because they were many, and Moab was distressed because of the children of Israel. And Moab said unto the elders of Midian, Now shall this company lick up all that are round about us, as the ox licketh up the grass of the field. And Balak the son of Zippor was king of the Moabites at that time. He sent messengers therefore unto Balaam the son of Beor to Pethor, which is by the river of the land of the children of his people, to call him, saying, Behold, there is a people come out from Egypt. Behold, they cover the face of the earth, and they abide over against me. Come now, therefore, I pray thee, curse me this people, for they are too mighty for me. Peradventure I shall prevail, that we may smite them, and that I may drive them out of the land. For I wot that he whom thou blesseth is blessed, and he whom thou cursest is cursed. Now, this Balaam, he's not the demon one. Actually, I'm sorry, that's Baal. But Balaam is actually a prophet. And he wants him to come curse the people. Because he said that people out of Egypt are against him, which is a lie, because, they're not going against him. They're just in the region. But he's just afraid of them. And anyways, he wants this person to come curse them because, he does speak to the Lord. And he's not an Israelite. So, God spoke to many people throughout all the lands, just the Israelites were his chosen people. Let's continue on here, verse 7. And the elders of Moab and the elders of Midian departed with the rewards of divination in their hand. And they came unto Balaam and spake unto him the words of Balak. And he said unto them, Lodge here this night, and I will bring you word again, as the Lord shall speak unto me. And the princes of Moab abode with Balaam. And God came unto Balaam and said, What men are these with thee? And Balaam said unto God, Balak, the son of Zippor, king of Moab, hath sent unto me, saying, Behold, there is a people come out of Egypt, which covereth the face of the earth. Come now, curse me them, peradventure I shall be able to overcome them and drive them out. And God said unto Balaam, Thou shalt not go with them. Thou shalt not curse the people, for they are blessed. Now, we've went over this story before. Most that know this story, they keep asking him to talk to the Lord to curse. Keep curse. We want to curse these people so we can defeat them, blah, blah, blah. God's done given his answer. And Balaam should have stuck with the first answer. But money comes into play here, and of course, a lot of people, mankind is weak when it comes to that. But continue on here, verse 13. And Balaam rose up in the morning and said unto the princes of Balak, Get you into your land, for the Lord refuseth to give me leave to go with you. And the princes of Moab rose up, and they went unto Balak, and said, Balaam refuses to come with us. And Balak sent yet again princes more and more honorable than they. And they came to Balaam, and said unto him, Thus saith Balak the son of Zippor, Let nothing, I pray thee, hinder thee from coming unto me. For I will promote thee unto very great honor, and I will do whatsoever thou sayest unto me. Come therefore, I pray thee, curse me this people. And Balaam answered and said unto the servants of Balak, If Balak would give me his house full of silver and gold, I cannot go beyond the word of the Lord my God to do less or more. Now therefore I pray you, tarry ye also here this night, that I may know what the Lord will say unto me more. Now once he's already got his answer, but let's continue on here, verse 20. And God came unto Balaam at night and said unto him, If the men come to call thee, rise up and go with them, but yet the word which I say unto thee, thou shalt thou do. And Balaam rose up in the morning and saddled his ass and went with the princes of Moab. And God's anger was kindled because he went, and the angel of the Lord stood in the way for an adversary against him. Now he was riding upon his ass, and his two servants were with him. And the ass saw the angel of the Lord standing in the way, and his sword drawn in his hand. And the ass turned aside out of the way and went into the field. And Balaam smote the ass to turn her into the way. But the angel of the Lord stood in a path of the vineyards, a wall being on this side and a wall on that side. And when the ass saw the angel of the Lord, she thrust herself unto the wall and crushed Balaam's foot against the wall, and he smote her again. And the angel of the Lord went further and stood in a narrow place where was no way to turn either to the right hand or to the left. And when the ass saw the angel of the Lord, she fell down under Balaam, and Balaam's anger was kindled, and he smote the ass with a staff. And the Lord opened the mouth of the ass, and she said unto Balaam, What have I done unto thee, that thou hast smiteth me these 3 times. So now his donkey is talking to him. And so, like I said, God done gave him a word before, but since he asked again, says, okay, go with him. You know, like I done gave you an answer, but, here you are going to question me even more. But 29. And Balaam said unto the ass, because thou hast mocked me, I would there were a sword of mine hand, for now I would kill thee. Yeah, I would be all in amaze that, first my donkey is talking to me, but he decides to have a conversation. Anyways, moving on. 30. And the ass said unto Balaam, am not I thine ass, upon which thou hast ridden ever since I was thine unto this day? Was I ever wont to do so unto thee? And he said, nay. Then the Lord opened the eyes of Balaam, and he saw the angel of the Lord standing in the way, and his sword drawn in his hand, and he bowed down his head and fell flat on his face. And the angel of the Lord said unto him, wherefore hast thou smitten thine ass these 3 times? Behold, I went out to withstand thee, because thy way is perverse before me. And the ass saw me and turned from me these 3 times, unless she had turned from me, surely now also I had slain thee and saved her alive. And Balaam said unto the angel of the Lord, I have sinned, for I knew not that thou stoodest in the way against me. Now therefore, if it displease thee, I will get me back again. And the angel of the Lord said unto Balaam, go with the men, but only the word that I shall speak unto thee, that thou shalt speak. So Balaam went with the princes of Balak. And when Balak heard that Balaam was come, he went out to meet him unto a city of Moab, which is in the border of Arnon, which is in the utmost coast. And Balak said unto Balaam, did I not earnestly send unto thee to call thee? Yeah, this is men saying, hey, I said something, you should do it. Why do I gotta, keep asking? And said, well, if I said I can't come, I can't come. It's like, But anyways, am I not able indeed to promote thee to honor? And Balaam said unto Balak, lo, I am come unto thee. Have I now any power at all to say anything? The word of God, the word that God putteth in my mouth, that shall I speak. And Balaam went with Balak, and they came unto Kirjath Huzoth. And Balak offered oxen and sheep, and sent to Balaam and to the princes that were with him. And it came to pass on the morrow that Balak took Balaam and brought him up into the high places of Baal, that thence he might see the utmost part of the people. And Balaam said unto Balak, build me here 7 altars, and prepare me here 7 oxen and 7 rams. And Balak did as Balaam had spoken, and Balak and Balaam offered on every altar a bullock and a ram. And Balaam said unto Balak, stand by thy burnt offering, and I will go, peradventure the Lord will come to meet me, and whatsoever he showeth me, I will tell thee. And he went to an high place. And God met Balaam, and he said unto him, I have prepared 7 altars, and I have offered upon every altar a bullock and a ram. Now, here it sounds like Balaam is thinking that the sacrifices are to get favor with the Lord, not, to cover sins, to be remorseful for sinning against God, asking for forgiveness. But that's what it seems like here. But verse 5 of 23. And the Lord put a word into Balaam's mouth and said, return unto Balak, and thus thou shalt speak. And he returned unto him, and lo, he stood by his burnt sacrifice, he and all the princes of Moab. And he took up his parable and said, Balak, the king of Moab, hath brought me from Aram out of the mountains of the east, saying, Come, curse me, Jacob, and come, defy Israel. How shall I curse whom God hath not cursed? Or how shall I defy whom the Lord hath not defied? For from the top of the rocks I see him, and from the hills I behold him. Lo, the people shall dwell alone, and shall not be reckoned among the nations. Who can count the dust of Jacob, and the number of the fourth part of Israel? Let me die the death of the righteous, and let my last end be like this. And Balak said unto Balaam, What hast thou done unto me? I took thee to curse mine enemies, and behold, thou hast blessed them altogether. Yeah, this person doesn't understand God. It's like Balaam doesn't tell God what to do. God tells Balaam what to do. You know, if God tells Balaam, hey, these people are cursed, or these people, this nation will take, okay. But when he says, otherwise, like, wait a minute, no, you're supposed to curse. It's like, I can't curse them. I can't curse what God refuses to curse. And of course, leaders don't understand this. They just want you to do what they want you to do. Verse 12, And he answered and said, Must I not take heed to speak that which the Lord hath put in my mouth? And Balak said unto him, Come, I pray thee, with me unto another place, from whence thou mayest see them. Thou shalt see but the utmost part of them, and shalt not see them all. And curse me them from thence. And he brought him into the field of Zophim, to the top of Pisgah, and built 7 altars, and offered a bullock and a ram on every altar. And he said unto Balak, Stand here by thy burnt offering, while I meet the Lord yonder. And the Lord met Balaam, and put a word in his mouth, and said, Go again unto Balak, and say this. And when he come to him, behold, he stood by his burnt offering, and the princes of Moab with him. And Balak said unto him, What hath the Lord spoken? And he took up his parable, and said, Rise up, Balak, and hear, hearken unto me, thou son of Zippor. God is not a man, that he should lie, neither the Son of Man, that he should repent. Hath he said, and shall he not do it? Or hath he spoken, and shall he not make it good? Behold, I have received commandment to bless, and he hath blessed, and I cannot reverse it. He hath not beheld iniquity in Jacob, neither hath he seen perverseness in Israel. The Lord his God is with him, and the shout of a king is among them. God brought them out of Egypt. He hath, as it were, the strength of an unicorn. Now, of course, this was later found out. This is one of the words that was translated a little incorrectly. It might be the word that they used at the time, and we think it's a horse with a horn on it, but it actually means wild beast. He has the strength of a wild beast. And if anybody's ever seen the strength of a tiger, or the strength of an elephant, the strength of a gorilla, that's what they're meaning here. He has the strength of, many men in one body. But let's continue on here. 23. Surely there is no enchantment against Jacob, neither is there any divination against Israel. According to this time it shall be said of Jacob and of Israel, What hath God wrought? Behold, the people shall rise up as a great lion, and lift up himself as a young lion. He shall not lie down until he eat of the prey, and drink the blood of the slain. And Balak said unto Balaam, Neither curse them at all, nor bless them at all. But Balaam answered and said unto Balak, Told I not thee, saying, All that the Lord speaketh, that I must do? And Balak said unto Balaam, Come, I pray thee, I will bring thee unto another place, Peradventure it will please God that thou mayest curse me them from thence. This person's just, he just wants to curse, and he don't care what God's got to say. Anyways, 28. And Balak brought Balaam unto the top of Peor, and looketh toward Jeshimon. And Balaam said unto Balak, Build me here 7 altars, and prepare me here 7 bullocks and 7 rams. And Balak did as Balaam had said, and offered a bullock and a ram on every altar. Chapter 24. And when Balaam saw that it pleased the Lord to bless Israel, he went not, as at other times, to seek for enchantments, but he set his face toward the wilderness. And Balaam lifted up his eyes, and he saw Israel abiding in his tents according to their tribes, and the Spirit of God came upon him. And he took up his parable and said, Balaam the son of Beor hath said, and the man whose eyes are open hath said. He hath said, which heard the words of God, which saw the vision of the Almighty, falling into a trance, but having his eyes open. How goodly are thy tents of Jacob, O Jacob, and thy tabernacles, O Israel. As the valleys are they spread forth, as gardens by the riverside, as the trees of line aloes, which the Lord hath planted, and as cedar trees beside the waters. I don't know what line aloes is, but more than likely, I guess it's the plant that you get the aloe vera from. The stuff they use as an ointment to help out with sunburns and whatnot. Because it says aloes there, so I'm guessing trees of. Because I do have those. I don't know. Anyway, it's a tree. I don't know what type of tree. Never heard of it before. But either or. Verse 7. He shall pour the water out of his buckets, and his seed shall be in many waters. And his king shall be higher than Agag, and his kingdom shall be exalted. God brought him forth out of Egypt. He hath, as it were, the strength of an unicorn. He shall eat up the nations, his enemies, and shall break their bones, and pierce them through with his arrows. He couched, he lay down as a lion, and as a great lion, thou shalt stir him up. Blessed is he that blesseth thee, and cursed is he that curseth thee. So this commandment still stands today, that any nation that goes against Israel will be cursed. If you curse Israel, God curses you. So for all these people that sit there today say we should go against Israel, nay, nay. As America, we shall not do that. We may, as a country, but that doesn't mean the people in the country, want to do this. What God says goes, no matter what weapons you have. All right, I looked up the word unicorn and what definition of the King James Version it would mean. And they're saying that, unicorn stands for a single-horned animal. We have one on earth today. It's called the rhinoceros. And that could be what they mean. Now, a rhinoceros can kill an elephant, can kill a tiger, can kill a gorilla. And so, like I said, that type of beast, probably with the horn coming out, we don't know how far these animals went throughout these lands at this time before areas become so desolate that they just went to the bottom part of Africa. You gotta remember, Egypt is the northern region of Africa, the continent. So, when we say unicorn in this, Just think of a rhinoceros. That's what we would call it today. But I'll read it here of what I found out about the word unicorn associated with King James Version. It says, as a symbol of wild, unattainable power, translating the Hebrew word reem, it is not a reference to a mythical creature, but likely a wild ox, eryx, or possibly a rhinoceros. Modern translations replace unicorn with wild ox, wild bull, or ox. I would say rhinoceros more. When you think of a wild beast with some of the most strength, I totally forgot about that creature. A horned creature that, had power of anything else. I don't think there's anything out there really that could mess with a full strength rhino. I mean, they defeat packs of lions. Their hide's almost impossible for them to get through and harm them. When they're young, they can. When they're old and weak, they can. But a fully healthy one, it's not something that you want to try to mess with. Rhinos have even flipped vehicles that are out in the Sahara. With those people out there wanting to, safari land things, whatever. They go out there and look around, watch the animals. Rhinos attack them things and pierce the whole vehicle with their horns. They're quite vicious. But anyways, let's continue on. So as God's already telling Balaam that he plans on doing with these people, but with the Israelites. Verse 10. And Balak's anger was kindled against Balaam, and he smote his hands together, and Balak said unto Balaam, I called thee to curse mine enemies, and behold, thou hast altogether blessed them these 3 times. Therefore now flee thou to thy place. I thought to promote thee unto great honor, but lo, the Lord hath kept thee back from honor. So a lot of people, even today, think that, mansions and money makes you honorable, makes you worthy of something, this, that, and the others. And God's always been the opposite. It's like, that's not honor, that's just greed. That's just vanity. That's just, lustful desires of worldliness. And godly people can't be tempted by that stuff. Should not, anyways. But let's continue on, verse 12. And Balaam said unto Balak, Spake I not also to thine messengers which thou sentest unto me, saying, If Balak would give me his house full of silver and gold, I cannot go beyond the commandment of the Lord, to do either good or bad of mine own hand. But what the Lord saith, that will I speak. So, other than, he already messed up and was going with them when God told him not to, and his foot got crushed against the rocks, this, that, and the other. His donkey started talking to him because he was beating his donkey, wanting it to obey him, and the donkey's trying to save him. And, the angel of the Lord had to appear to him to get him to understand and say, hey, it's like normally when God gives us an answer, we should stick with it. It's hard for us sometimes, but, anyways, we keep asking sometimes, and sometimes we should just be happy with the answer we get. But let's continue on, her 14. And now, behold, I go unto my people. Come therefore, and I will advertise thee what this people shall do to thy people in the latter days. And he took up his parable and said, Balaam the son of Beor hath said, and the man whose eyes are open hath said. He hath said, which heard the words of God, and knew the knowledge of the Most High, which saw the visions of the Almighty, falling into a trance, but having his eyes open. I shall see him, but not now. I shall behold him, but not nigh. There shall come a star out of Jacob, And a scepter shall rise out of Israel, and shalt smite the corners of Moab, and destroy all the children of Seth. And Edom shall be a possession, Seir also shall be a possession for his enemies, and Israel shall do valiantly. Out of Jacob shall come he that shall have dominion, and shall destroy him that remaineth of the city. And when he looked on Amalek, he took up his parable, and said, Amalek was the first of the nations, but his latter end shall be that he perish forever. And he looked on the Kenites, and took up his parable, and said, Strong is thy dwelling place, and thou puttest thy nest in a rock. Nevertheless, the Kenites shall be wasted, until Asher shall carry thee away captive. And he took up his parable, and said, Alas, who shall live when God doeth this? And the ship shall come from the coast of Chittim, and shall afflict Asher, and shall afflict Eber, and he also shall perish forever. And Balaam rose up and went and returned to his place, and Balak went also went his way. So, multiple animals had to die to keep getting the same answer. He had to get his foot hurt and almost got killed by an angel from not listening. And in the end, he just went right back home, because he says, I'm saying what God says. And the person, Balak, should have listened the first time, because now he just told all the people. More than likely, this is to tell him, if you want to live and your people live, you need to flee this land. Because he's going to give it to the Israelites. So you can either do it peacefully or lose by war. Anyways, that's the end of this lesson. I went over the 30-minute mark a little bit. I kind of yacked a little bit about some things, and I should have just read the lesson. But, yeah, I wanted to find out more about the word unicorn and why it's used in the Bible. Because it said all of us translate unicorn as a mythical horse, and the original translation must have been a one-horned beast. So they called it unicorn. And so, it ain't that it's mistranslated or speaking of mythical creatures. It's just we have to remember the words they used in their day and what they would be, how they would translate in today's language. I couldn't imagine trying to do battle against a rhinoceros. Anyways, like I said, that's the end of this lesson today. And so, I hope you enjoyed it. Remember to pray. Pray for yourself, others, lost, the found, all people, all nations everywhere. We got this thing going in Iran. Civilians, supposedly, from the reports, the Iranians that are in charge are hurting the civilians and trying to blame it on America and this, that, and the other, saying that they're doing it. Why? Because evil people always use propaganda and lies to play the victim, when they've been abusive people the whole time they've been in charge. I think it's like when they had people protesting in Iran, 35,000 people was killed by the Iranian government. If I remember correctly, that was a report. So these are not nice people in charge. That doesn't mean the people that live there or from there are evil as their leaders. Same thing about America. American government may do things that are questionable to the world, but you shouldn't blame the people for it, because it doesn't mean that the people agree. Anyways, don't forget to give God all the praise, glory, and worship, and thanks in everything, the good, the bad, the ugly, and the indifferent. When you pray for something and you get an answer, just stick with it. If the answer is no, then the answer is no. You can keep praying for it, but don't get mad if you don't get it. Sometimes God's helping you, and we don't really understand that at times. But anyways, until next time, God bless, good day, and goodbye.